Hi, this is Jay. Welcome to Bright Ideas. Here are the examples of linear models of curriculum development. Tyler's rational linear model, Tabas Grassroots rational model, and standards-based curriculum development model. The first model is Tyler's rational linear model. Ralph Tyler at the University of Chicago developed the first model of curriculum development. This model was presented in his book Principles of Curriculum and Instruction, published in 1949. Tyler argued that curriculum development should be logical and systematic. His model presents a process of curriculum development that follows a sequential pattern starting from selecting objectives to selecting learning experiences, organizing learning experiences, and evaluation. Tyler argued that to develop any curriculum, curriculum workers should respond to four basic questions. What educational purposes should the school seek to attain? What educational experiences are likely to attain these objectives? How can these educational experiences be organized? And how can we determine whether these purposes are being attained? Aside from these four questions, Tyler also identified three curriculum sources: society, students, and subject matter. Accordingly, curriculum workers need to study these sources carefully in order to develop a curriculum. Tyler also pointed out the importance of philosophy of education and psychology of learning to screen the objectives that are included in the curriculum. The next one is the Tabas Grassroots Rational Model. A follower of Tyler is another curriculum scholar, Hilda Taba. Taba presented her model in her book Curriculum Development, Theory and Practice in 1962. Her model is a modified version of Tyler's model. Taba argued that curriculum development should follow a sequential and logical process, and she suggested for more information input in all phases of curriculum development. Taba also claimed that all curricula are composed of fundamental elements. In her model, Taba outlined 7 steps that should be followed when developing a curriculum: diagnosis of needs, formulation of objectives, selection of content, organization of content, selection of learning experiences, organization of learning experiences, and determination of what to evaluate and ways and means of doing it. Taba also suggested that curriculum development could be made successful if there was a diagnosis of needs. This would help curriculum workers in understanding the needs of the learners. It would also help in the selection of the goals and objectives and in the selection of contents. Taba pointed out that the nature of the objectives determines what learning is to follow. The next one is Standards-Based Curriculum Development Model. The Standards-Based Curriculum Development Model was developed by Alan Glatthorne. The model was intended for developing curriculum for any discipline from basic education to higher education. In this example of linear model, it includes a prescribed sequence of curriculum development activities to develop standards. Phase 1. Develop standards. Develop a comprehensive set of content standards using multiple sources. Refine the comprehensive list by eliminating and combining. Secure teacher input to identify teacher priorities. Use data to develop final draft of standards divided into essential standards and enrichment standards. Phase 2. Develop benchmarks. Review decisions about content emphasis. Identify standards for continuing development, standards that will not be benchmarked. Decide how benchmarks will be identified by task force or by teachers. Develop initial draft or benchmarks, evaluating with criteria provided, and secure teacher review, revise benchmarks if needed. Phase 3. Develop final products. Use standards and benchmarks to produce the scope and sequence chart. Decide on curriculum guide content. Analyze benchmarks into learning objectives. Clarence Model is an example of linear and rational curriculum development model. The model is rational and descriptive, stressing on the development of standards as the first activity in curriculum development. The model recognizes the importance of using multiple sources in developing curriculum standards. This model also recognizes teachers' input in the development of standards, which are often neglected in curriculum projects in the Philippines because of the top-down approach to curriculum development and implementation. The use of benchmarks to improve, refine, and validate curriculum standards is an equally good practice in curriculum development. The model extends itself up to the development of scope and sequence, which is important for planning, instruction, and deciding on specific contents and objectives. Roberts stressed that in curriculum studies, as in many other domains of human activity, one of the few constants is change. Roberts further explained his idea that as field of inquiry, curriculum should allow new theories to emerge and new insights to flourish to make the curriculum field more vibrant and dynamic.